This video is for you if you think that studying is hard, or if you just can't seem to do well in school no matter how hard you try, or if you just simply want to learn something. Because I'm about to share with you all of my study tips and secrets that have helped me become a 4.0 Harvard student, a US National Chemistry Olympiad finalist, and have a 1580 SAT, and I can promise you that these tips will change the game of studying for you. Before we get started, if you want more tips, I have another video in the Academic Weapons series with study tips all different from the ones I'm going to share today. So you can go find that in my channel in the how-to playlist. And I also have the Ultimate Academic Weapons Study Guide in my link in bio, which is a study guide with over 55 pages detailing every single thing that I do to study for different subjects, how I study for tests, mindset, motivation, and so much more. It has 100% good reviews, and it took me months to make because I wrote every single word in there myself. So go check it out if you want more study tips, and it will be at the top of my description box below. But without further ado, let's get started. How to focus. When I post my study vlogs, everyone asks me, how do you stay focused for so long? So let me share my secrets with you. First of all, your phone goes. It cannot stay with you. Turn on Do Not Disturb and then put it away across the room, far from your reach. And no, don't tell me that you can control yourself, because even when I have my phone right next to me, I can't help but look at it every few minutes. Because it is such a distraction, so put away anything that is unrelated to the subject or topic that you are studying. Out of sight, out of mind. Okay, now how do you stay focused for a long chunk of time? Me personally, I am not the biggest fan of the famous Pomodoro study technique, which is basically when you study for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break and you repeat. But I don't like it because I am a huge supporter of getting into your flow state. Okay, so what is the flow state? This is basically when you get into a zone of whatever you are doing or studying, and it just starts to come naturally to you, and whatever you're doing becomes easier. And this usually takes a lot of time, and I cannot reach the flow state unless I've spent at least a few hours of studying. This is why I also recommend blocking out large chunks of time in the day to study, instead of just studying for 5 minutes here and then taking a break and then 5 minutes there. This way you will also retain the information better, and you should also stick to one subject for each period of studying instead of jumping between different topics. I will get more into this when I talk about organization tips for studying later on in this video. But trust me, staying focused gets easier and easier as time goes on. Like for me too, in the first few minutes when I just begin studying, it is so hard to stay focused, and I'm always thinking about something else or what I was just doing. But after a period of time of focused studying or doing something, for example, if I've been reading the textbook for 30 minutes to an hour, I don't want to stop halfway, and it's so much easier to stay focused and get it done. Of course, I completely understand that focus could be difficult for different people due to situations that are completely out of your control. So please take these tips with a grain of salt and make sure that they work well for you, because studying looks different for everyone. Maybe the Pomodoro technique or studying for short chunks of time works better for some people, so definitely test it out and see if these tips actually help you to study better. Okay, next, let's talk about how to cram. In my last video, I realized that a lot of people were watching my study tip videos a week or a few days before their exam. First of all, just don't cram. Do not cram. Like, do not do that to yourself. Okay, but let's say that you did not see this video until now, or you are forced to study for your exam a few days leading up to it. What should you do? Okay, first of all, good for you for watching this video, but after you finish getting the study tips from this video, go get studying. And follow these study tips for all of your classes and before your next exam, so you aren't cramming and stressed like you are right now. Okay, so the exam is coming up. Do not be reading the little details, and do not be reading the textbook over and over again trying to study. There are two things that you must do. First, you want to figure out the main concepts that you're going to be tested on and some of the most important facts that you need to know. Okay, so how do you do this? No matter what subject you are studying, there will be YouTube videos or websites out there summarizing the content for you. Especially if you are taking an AP class, this is so standardized, and you can find so many helpful resources available online that will tell you the content that you need to know for each unit, so for each exam. And this can be for chemistry, physics, math. You're always going to be tested on a topic or a group of topics for each exam, so ask your teacher what you're going to be tested on, and then go online and find those short videos that you can watch summarizing the topics. And my little tip is to go through these videos on 2x speed, so you can watch them twice as fast but also stay focused. And before you go ask your teacher, always try and help yourself first. Go look at the class schedule or syllabus and see what lectures lectures or content was covered, and that will be on the exam. Depending on how much time you still have, go back and re-watch the lectures on 2x speed or go through the class slides and lecture notes if they are available. The key to studying is to look for resources because they are always available for you. And if you are lucky enough to have your lecture slides posted and what the teacher teaches in class, then go through them because the teacher will have to test you on what they taught. Focus on the headers of the slides or what is bolded and highlighted, and really focus on remembering these main ideas instead of trying to go through every little detail. And note that this is not the same for every subject. For example, if you're trying to study for math, then you have to remember all of the formulas, which might seem like a little detail, but you need to know the formulas and process of solving problems. And this can be confusing, but I go into so much more detail on exactly what you should be doing for each different subject in my study guide. Now, cramming step number 2 is to do practice tests and problems. Go back and redo all of your homework or all of your quizzes, whatever you have available. And if you are short on time, then just go back and redo the questions that you got wrong. Since the same teacher is creating the problems, then you can assume that they will probably be similar on the test. Now listen up. After you finish redoing all of the problems, you need to figure out exactly what and why you get something wrong. Did you mess up a formula, or did you not figure out exactly what the question was asking for? Or maybe you missed a step or remembered a fact incorrectly. Whatever it is, figure it out and write the reasoning behind all of your mistakes down on a sheet of paper, and the morning of the test, take this with you and read through it so you won't make the same mistake again during the actual exam. You can do 10 million practice exams, but if you don't go back and figure out exactly why you got the score that you did, then you will never improve. A tip that I like to follow is that whenever I do practice exams or practice problems and there is a question that I don't know, first of all, you should always answer it, but I will put a star next to the questions that I'm not 100% certain of, and after you finish grading the exam, even if you get the starred question correct, always go back and read the answer key and figure out why you weren't sure and why the correct answer is correct. Okay, now if you have a test coming up, go and do these steps right now and save this video and come back to finish it later so you can level up your studying game. Next, we will be going over how to take notes. Taking effective notes can be different for everyone, but I will be sharing with you the strategy that I use and that I highly recommend and find to be the most helpful. During lectures, I like to type my notes, and whether it is lecture notes or reading assignments, I almost like to type it down word for word. I know this is not the strategy for everyone, and maybe for some people they can find that it gets more difficult to find what is important, but I personally find a peace of mind in having everything in one place in a Google Docs with just written down notes of everything that was said or read. However, this is not the case when it comes to study guides for a test. I copy everything down for lectures because at that point in time, I want to learn and consume everything. But before a test, when I already have an overall understanding of the concepts, what I take note of and what I write down for my study guides are always the main ideas and formulas. And for my study guides, I do not type them anymore. Instead, I handwrite them because I find that writing them down helps you retain the information better. If you want the study guides that I type throughout lectures and my handwritten study guides that I made before tests, you can find those in my Beacons AI page linked below for classes like AP US History, AP Stats, AP Physics, and more. And last but not least, let's talk about study organization. How do you stay organized? If you are all over the place and you don't know where your notes are or what section you are on, of course you won't do well in class. I love using Google Drive, and I think that's because I just got into the habit of doing that throughout the years. At the beginning of every semester, I will create a folder for all of the classes that I'm in, and then I will create a Google Docs for all of my lecture notes and a folder inside for my homework. And if you have a lot of handouts or have to handwrite your assignments, then I would have a physical folder where I would keep all of my assignments and handouts in one place. I like to color code them, and for me, I feel like history is red, math is blue, science is green, and so on, but find a color scheme that you like and works best for you. And of course, if you are like me, then you would love having aesthetic and cute study supplies which motivate me to study. I love to buy cute notebooks or a cute iPad case and cute study supplies, anything that makes your studying experience better and more enjoyable. For an example, my whole studying color scheme is pink. I have a pink iPad case, a pink notebook, a pink laptop, pink pens, and everything, and that's just because I love pink and that's what works best for me. Staying organized also means that you know when things are happening, and you should treat school and studying like a full-time job. At the start of every semester, I go through my syllabus and put all of my test dates and quiz dates into my Apple Calendar. And then I set an alert 1 week before and then another alert 2 days before the exam, so I know I will not be caught off guard and not have time to study. You never want to have to walk into class one day and suddenly realize that you have a test that you did not prepare for. I know that this takes a bit of time, but trust me, the 10 minutes that it takes at the beginning of the semester will save you hours later on. And it will save your grade. For assignments and a to-do list, I love to use my notes app because, admit it, you always have your phone on you, so it is so much easier to keep track of assignments, and I just add them in right after they are assigned. I create subheadings for all of my classes, and then underneath them I have a checklist with the due date and the assignment. This way I can check them off as I finish each assignment, and it is so fulfilling at the end of the day when you open your notes app and you see the long yellow list of completed check marks. Back in high school, I like to use a physical planner because one was provided for us, but it was the exact same process. I would put all the assignments down under each class category and just check them off throughout the day. And also make sure that you are constantly updating this list as you go to each class so you don't forget any assignments. Finally, I just want to say that you are studying for no one but for you. Being able to learn and study is such a privilege, and the ultimate trick to getting better at studying is to truly find joy and meaning in doing it. There is so much freedom in being able to learn whatever you want, whenever you want, which makes learning how to study so much more important. If you think you are studying for your teacher or for your parents, then of course studying feels like a chore. However, studying is only going to save you and make your life better and easier in the future. So really don't just study for a grade, but study for yourself. And just by watching this video, I already know that you are well on your way to improving yourself and becoming an academic weapon. And that is the end of today's video. If you watched all the way here to the end, then comment the pencil emoji in the comment section down below so that I know you are a real one and you are well on your way to entering your academic weapon era. I truly love reading all of your comments telling me how my videos helped you, so please give these tips a try and let me know if they work well for you. Again, my ultimate academic weapon study guide is linked at the top of my description box down below if you want a comprehensive guide on how to study and all of my study secrets. Go follow me on Instagram, Vllo, and TikTok for more daily content including study vlogs and tips, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you, bye!